Here is the 2025 Mazda CX-70 PHEV Premium Plus and Poly Gray Metallic over red and black Napa leather against the CX-90 Platinum Quartz Metallic over black Napa leather. The new CX-70 polishes the trims a little bit more unique. You only have two different options opposed to three for the CX-90. It's the same powertrain, same suspension layout, in the same platform. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over the differences between the two comparable rivals, pros and cons, and the problem that I have with the Mazda. We're going to start off with the new CX-70. You have the integrated LED headlights and daytime runnings that run into the smoked out chrome that will wrap around the enlarged grille with the honeycomb mesh inserts that's with the gloss black. As for the CX-90, you're going to see the chrome that's going to bulge out. Both are going to have front and rear parking sensors and a 360-degree reverse camera because of the Premium Plus trim. When you go into the base options, you will not be able to get this with 8.1 inches of clearance, whereas when you go into the turbo trims on both of them, it will be 8 inches on the preferred trim level. The lower bumper is going to change grille pattern in the lower air pocket that's functional, opposed to the CX-90 that will just have a vertical line with the air pocket. And underneath the hood is going to have the same exact powertrain. It's a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder Skyactiv PHEV system that produces 323 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission with standard Skyactiv G all-wheel drive, which is rear-wheel bias. So when you're thinking rival perspective, that's something that doesn't come standard. You would typically pay $1,500 to $2,000 on anybody that it's competing against. Achieving 56 mpges combined on both, the difference is going to be for your all-electric range. This is at 25 for the third row variant, opposed to 26 for the new CX-70. Both are going to get a total of 490-mile range, and charging times is going to be about 6.1 hours on a level 1 or 120 volt. Go into a level 2 or a 240 and you're getting 1.5 hour charge, which I like this because when you're thinking rival perspective, even going against Volvo, this is going to be a little bit quicker. 21-inch wheels starts on the Premium, and a 19-inch wheel is going to be standard, and going into the Premium Plus, you have the same wheel size. The lower is going to get the chrome with the Mazda badging, the PHEV on the side vent, and around all of the window trims will receive the chrome, whereas on the CX-70, to change it up, you're going to get the gloss black elements that's going to surround the window trims. The lower will get the matte black standard 21-inch wheels, and both will get the kinematic posture control, which uses the braking system, and this is found in the Mazda Miata or MX-5, which will keep the vehicle more planted whenever you're taking bends in the road. And when you're thinking both of these vehicles are over 200 inches in length, I like that we're getting some dynamics because we have a McPherson strut front suspension and a multi-link rear suspension. So handling is not going to be necessarily a problem, but it can be top heavy because of how long and how much the vehicle weighs, because they weigh over 5,200 pounds, giving a total towing capacity at 3,500 pounds. But if you go into any of the turbo variants, up to 5,000 pounds of towing, and Mazda has put itself above most vehicles in its class, because normally I would say this would compete against Lexus, Acura, Infiniti. But when you're thinking of what you're getting as a value, most of those vehicles will not be able to compete with this, and the pricing is going to be over 60 grand, in which both of these is under that. Putting this more at a premium luxury like BMW, Audi, and Mercedes, just not getting the performance. But then when you're thinking Audi, they don't even offer a PHEV. You either go electric or gas variant. Go into Volvo, you're going to be spending $60,000 to $70,000, especially if you're wanting to integrate it with 21-inch wheels. The rear is going to get standard LED combination taillights, and on the lower it's going to change the configuration a little bit because you're going to receive a grille pattern around the reflector with painted inserts. As for the CX-90, you're going to get the chrome trim that's going to go on the lower. Both are going to have more of that coupe style, the way it bubbles, and the wide track for the front and the rear. And when you're thinking about those rivals, it makes this a little bit more desirable because of the savings, and you're still getting the dynamics. Power liftgate for the CX-90, and that's going to start off with 14.9 cubic feet of storage behind the third row. With a home plug and another home plug with a 12-volt charger, bag holders on the top, LED interior lights, a little storage nook, and underneath the floor gets a little bit of storage. Split fold the third row by pulling the levers at a 60-40 split, increasing cargo to 40 cubic feet of storage. Unfortunately, you do have to go into the back in order to fold down these captain seats flat to give the maximum 74.2 cubic feet of storage, which will be 1.1 cubic feet less than the CX-70. And here you're going to have the same setup, except you're losing that third row. Underneath the floor is going to have the same storage. However, it opens up into 2 tiers of storage and split fold the rear bench in the back, and that will increase the cargo to 75.3 cubic feet. CX-90 PHEV. The Premium Plus adds this red interior. It's Napa leather, 10-way power seat adjustment for the front, as well as adding ventilated front seats, standard heated front seats, 8-way power seat adjustment for the passenger, memory for the driver. 10-way power seat adjustment for the driver, 8-way power seat adjustment for the passenger, Napa leather, heated ventilated front seats, memory for the driver. Headroom for the CX-70, it's going to be basically the same as the CX-90, as well as leg space. It really starts changing the configuration in the second row. When you go into the CX-70 Premium Plus, you have this red interior option. Bose sound system comes standard on both trims, as well as a 12.3 informational display with navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth audio, as well as Amazon Alexa built in. Put it into reverse, a 360-degree reverse camera, full trajectory. Use the rotary knob and you can change the camera positions because it's not touch screen. Standard tried climate control settings, as well as a standard wireless charging pad, 12 volts. And you have the aluminum mesh inlay look that opens up into the new key fob for the CX-70. As for the CX-90, you have to go into the premium trim to get the wireless charging pad. It's going to have the same schematics, but you have a 10.25 on the base and premium. You have to go premium plus in order to get it. Heads-up display, Bose sound system starts in the premium level. The air vents are going to have more of a sporty style that goes into the bulge dashboard layout, and it's going to be soft to touch and opens up as a 2-tier with 2 USB ports in it. It's a medium-sized storage pocket with an auto-dimming rear view mirror and a long panel moonroof. Leather wrap steering wheel and leather wrap on the shifter is on all trims. Heated starts on the Premium Plus, multi-function with the paddle shifts. The gauge cluster can go through an array of information for the driver, including different configuration as well as different driver mode select, in which it includes a sport mode, a normal, EV, off-road. Door panel and dash configured together, and you have the aluminum mesh inlay look that'll run into the door pocket. It's going to be soft where it needs to be, one touch up and down for the windows, with the same size storage pocket. The CX-90 headroom for the second row and leg space. Storage behind both of the front seats, USB ports, air vents, heated rear seats. Because we're on the Premium Plus and because these are captain seats, you have the cup holders here, plus this will adjust. You can configure an 8-passenger layout on the preferred trim. This also reclines back, so you'll have a little bit more of a comfortable ride, and both will have manual sunshades. The door is going to have the same schematics as the front, software it needs to be, with the same size storage pocket. In the center here, you have the armrest with cup holders that folds up, and we can actually fit in the center. You could either put your feet here or here. The rails are not pushed up enough, so you'll be sharing some feet and toe space. As for leg, butt, and shoulder space, both of them are the same width, so it isn't too bad, but headroom starts becoming a little bit less desirable because the center sits upwards. But the CX-90 It gives you that third row capabilities for 3 more occupants to sit back here, as well as cup holders on both sides with USB ports. Air vents are going to be tucked down. I wish it was kind of put up, but because of the window, you don't actually feel claustrophobic. Headroom isn't bad. As for feet space, you're going to be sharing it because the rails and this bulges out. Sliding this back so you can see leg space is going to be a little bit cramped for someone 6'3", as well as butt, leg, and shoulder space. Sliding into the center, it's a little tight. You can stretch out, but not so much, making feet space a little bit better for the side occupants. If the seat is reclined back, there's no way I can fit back here. As for butt, leg, and shoulder space, it's going to be tight for 3 adults at 6'3", my dimensions. The CX-70 PHEV. It's going to have the same powertrain with 323 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. You're getting the same range. The major difference really is the interior, and this is 2 trims to choose from opposed to 3 trims to choose from, which is going to take me to some pros and cons right off the bat. I like the CX-70 a little bit better because of the way it sets interior wise. As for pricing, I like the CX-90 better because you're getting a third row variant. Maneuverability on both are going to be similar. And mashing the gas when you are not using the full capabilities in sport mode, it's going to feel a little bit more of a lag here opposed to the turbo variants. Plus you're losing some towing capabilities, which takes me to some cons. The center cluster is huge, which is great for that luxury style, but no pass-through, no sleeve. We're just losing a lot of storage capabilities and no touchscreen infotainment where we have to use this rotary knob. Now, it's not difficult to use it unless you're going into different settings for the upgraded sound system, but in the same token, it would be nice to have a touch screen because everybody that goes against it is going to have that. But coming back to a pro for the CX-70, you get 1.1 cubic feet of storage more. The CX-90, you get captain seat configuration. So it really just depends on if you really need that third row integrated, because when you're looking at spec-wise, this is going to be easier to configure. Plus, all of the trims get a 12.3 informational display, whereas the CX-90 gets a 10.25 unless you go into the Premium Plus trim. The seat cushions is good. I do wish it had manual seat cushion extensions at least. And the CX-90 PHEV, it's the same powertrain. You're gonna have the same sound deadening. It's the same wheel design, same specs, but you're getting third row capabilities for around $1,000 more. So for me, I hate to say it's a no-brainer, but I would probably pick the third row with the captain seat layout only because I kind of like having more seating. I do like that you're getting more cargo capacity in the CX-70. Both of them are going to feel a little bit heavy, especially in a normal mode. When you put it into sport, it does liven it up quite a bit, but then it's going to stay at a higher RPM, wanting you to be more aggressive whenever you're pushing the throttle. Taking me to some pros and cons. On the cons, it starts off with a 10.25 non-touch screen informational display, but we get a 12.3 gauge cluster. You have to go to the Premium Plus in order to get a 12.3 center cluster, and it's non-touch. And if you want wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, it starts on the premium trim. It doesn't start on the base preferred for the PHEV, nor will you get the wireless charging pad. I like that we're under 60 grand on both trims, so if you are considering maybe you don't need the third row, then you go into the CX-70, indulge with the cargo capacity, and you still have the middle seats that can recline and move forward and backwards, giving you optimal cargo capacity, or just making it a little bit more desirable for a long journey. The con for the CX-90, the panel moonroof does not go to the third row. You don't get any benefit other than a seat back there, and the air vents are on your leg area. So if you are anyone that's around 6 foot or taller, you're not going to really be able to utilize it at all or feel the air circulate as much in the third row. Because it's the same powertrain, I wish that there was a little bit difference in performance, especially when you're going to the CX-70 opposed to this, because really the only difference is you're losing 1 mile full electric on your range, and you're still getting a total of 490 miles to a full tank of gas. So for me, I would probably pick the third row only because I need the extra seats. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank Mazda of Clearwater for giving us this 2025 Mazda CX-70 PHEV versus the Mazda CX-90 PHEV for our car comparison review.